All right, today we are smashing together two worlds that honestly might seem completely unrelated at first glance. But trust me, once you see the connection, it is going to totally change how you watch modern sports. On one hand, we've got a dense Italian academic text exploring how ancient myths are received and reinterpreted, specifically focusing on a concept called the mythological machine. And on the other hand, we have the visceral, pulse-pounding, chaotic reality of Lionel Messi's 2022 World Cup victory with Argentina in Qatar. So let's dive into this explainer and use ancient archetypes and academic theory to decode one of the absolute greatest footballing stories ever told.
Here's our quick roadmap for decoding this classic hero's journey. 1. The mythological machine. 2. The hero's burden. 3. Descent into the underworld. 4. Designing the machine. 5. The epic final battle. And finally, 6. A myth reborn.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the mythological machine.
To really get what happened with Messi, we first have to understand this academic concept of the macchina mitologica, or the mythological machine. This is a theory developed by the Italian scholar Furio Gessi, and it basically describes this unseen mechanism where myths are created, constantly rewritten, and somehow manage to survive across generations. Societies actually use these mythological machines to build and maintain what Gessi calls topoi, or commonplaces. Think of them as recurring themes or legendary narratives that give a culture its vital focus and anchor it. And in Argentina, football isn't just a game, right? It's the absolute beating heart of their cultural identity. Their players aren't just athletes. They're the subjects of a living, breathing, mythological machine.
As our academic text points out, myth and history form this incredible, complex labyrinth. Ancient myth is never just a straight, easy line. It's a winding, confusing path of endless reinterpretations. And Lionel Messi's own quest for World Cup glory perfectly mirrors this. It wasn't a simple stroll to the trophy. It was literally a maze filled with dead ends, past heartbreaks, and an almost suffocating amount of pressure.
Now, within this framework, there's this powerful and honestly kind of intense concept called Ergriffenheit. It translates roughly to a state of emotional capture or profound commotion. It describes how ancient people didn't just casually observe their myths, they were completely seized and consumed by them. I want you to map that exact idea directly onto global football fandom. When you have millions of people watching a World Cup, crying, screaming, completely losing their minds in collective heartbreak or total euphoria, that is modern Ergriffenheit. They are fully emotionally captured by the myth playing out on the pitch.
Moving right along to Section 2, the hero's burden.
Entering that 2022 World Cup in Qatar, the expectations were just towering. 36. That is the massive unbeaten run Argentina rode into the tournament. They were the reigning Copa America champions. The entire nation, and arguably most of the footballing world, felt this overwhelming, undeniable sense of destiny. But as we know from mythology, destiny always comes with an impossibly heavy burden for the hero to carry.
So the really crucial point here is the historical weight Messi was carrying. In the language of our academic source, he literally carried the foco vitale, the vital focus of an entire nation. His mythological task was to somehow equal Diego Maradona's legendary 1986 legacy. And man, that burden was made agonizingly heavy by past failures, especially that devastating 1-0 loss to Germany in the 2014 World Cup final. The pressure wasn't just to win a tournament, it was to rewrite a historical tragedy into a triumph. But, spoiler alert, things did not go according to plan right out of the gate. As Messi himself admitted after their first game, the truth, dead. It's a very hard blow because we did not expect to start in this way.
Which brings us right to Section 3, Descent into the Underworld.
Let's quickly walk through the devastating timeline of that opening match against Saudi Arabia, who, by the way, were the second lowest ranked team at the entire tournament. In the 10th minute, everything seems totally fine. Messi calmly slots away a penalty. But then the descent begins, and it is rapid. 48th minute, Al-Shehri equalizes. Just 5 minutes later, 53rd minute, Al-Dosari brings down a high ball, spins past the defense, and hits this acrobatic winner. Just like that, the 36-match unbeaten run is totally shattered. Our hero is dragged straight down into the darkness.
It sparked a question that frankly hung over the rest of the tournament. Is the myth over before it even begins? This is the ultimate tension builder. Just like in any classic epic, the hero's journey is threatened with complete and utter destruction right at the starting line. Messi said the team felt dead. They were staring elimination in the face before the tournament had even truly gotten going.
All right, let's look at how they fixed it in Section 4, designing the machine.
This is wild. Look at the stark, fascinating contrast between Messi's attacking brilliance and his defensive output during the tournament. Offensively, the guy was a creative god. 8 goal contributions, 3 key passes per 90 minutes, 4.5 shots per 90. But defensively, it was a deliberate, absolute void. 0 interceptions, 0 blocks. In fact, Messi did more walking than literally any other player at the World Cup. At 35 years old, to produce maximum magic, he had to completely ruthlessly conserve his energy. He needed an architect, head coach Lionel Scaloni, to build a literal machine around him to do all the heavy lifting.
And here is exactly how Scaloni designed that machine. He shifted to a highly flexible 4-3-3 system where the other 10 players essentially acted as the working, mechanical gears to protect their hero. You had Rodrigo de Paul deployed to relentlessly cover the right half spaces, basically doing all the running Messi couldn't do. Alexis Mac Allister was brilliant at occupying the empty spaces, seamlessly linking the midfield to the attack. Up front, Julian Alvarez pressed incredibly aggressively and shadow covered the opposition. Because all these gears were grinding so perfectly together, Messi was completely freed from his defensive duties. He was allowed to just walk, scan the pitch, analyze the opponent's tiny weaknesses, and then strike with absolute precision.
Now we hit the climax. Section 5, the epic final battle. Watch how all of this theory builds through the chaotic, epic swings of what so many people are now calling the greatest World Cup final in history. Step 1. Argentina utterly dominates early on, going up 2-0 with goals from Messi and Di Maria. The quest looks like a wrap. But then, Step 2. The antagonist strikes back out of nowhere. Kylian Mbappe scores this stunning double in under 2 minutes to tie it late. Step 3. We are thrown into a chaotic 3-3 extra-time thriller. Messi scores again, seeming to win it, only for Mbappe to complete a hat trick with a penalty. It was madness. Finally, Step 4. It goes to a penalty shootout, where goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez provides the ultimate heroics, making a massive save to finally secure the victory.
And there it is, the absolute emotional climax. After years of agonizing near misses, intense media scrutiny, and carrying the weight of an entire nation on his shoulders, the hero finally completes the quest. Lionel Messi lifts the World Cup trophy, securing the one glaring missing piece of his legendary career. The labyrinth has been successfully navigated. The myth is secured.
Let's wrap this up with Section 6, a myth reborn.
Our Italian academic text notes that, quote, literature continues to keep myths alive reinterpreting them. While today, literature isn't just dusty books, is it? It's social media, it's deep dive data analysis, it's digital explainers just like this one, and massive global broadcast. By endlessly rewatching those highlights, geeking out over Scaloni's 4-3-3 tactics, and sharing the crazy story of that initial Saudi Arabia defeat followed by the glorious final, modern media and fans have cemented Messi's story. We have all actively operated the mythological machine, turning a sporting event into a permanent, living myth.
So I want to leave you with this final, lingering thought. We know from Forio Jesse that these commonplaces, the top eye, they only survive because they adapt to new eras. If a myth is truly defined by its ability to be endlessly reinterpreted, how will history rewrite the legend of Qatar 2022 50 or 100 years from now? Will it be remembered as a story of a tactical mastermind coach? A story of a gritty team lifting up their aging hero? Or simply the tale of a footballing god who quite literally walked his way to ultimate glory? That is the beauty of the mythological machine. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you next time.